Hello, beautiful. So today there are two theories I'm going to share with you that really changed my life. The first one is bubble theory. Bubble theory is a visual representation for my emotional body. It helps me so that my emotions aren't some crazy abstract thing and I have a visual representation so that I can clean it metaphorically and literally. So whenever I am emotionally damaged, my bubble gets damaged. When I take it on and when I let it get to me, that damage becomes a permanent thing. And when I go into denial, it doesn't actually make it go away. Like when I was raped as a kid, I was completely damaged and shattered beyond belief. And that damage led me to becoming an addict, to self-harming, to having incredibly low self-esteem, like hating myself and thinking that all I deserve in life is death. Humans have this ego. We want to believe that emotions don't really run our lives. We want to believe that it's a good thing to be unemotional and be essentially a sociopath, which I don't know why anybody considers that to be a good thing. I see us as humans, a species of animal that has lived on this earth for several 100,000 years, and we haven't even hit 1,000,000 years. There are many species of animals that ruled the world for millions of years, and I don't see us as superior to them.
Yes, I'm talking about dinosaurs. I've always been obsessed with dinosaurs and thought that they were really cool since I was a kid.
The bubble theory is about ourselves, and hurricane theory is when we take it out to how we relate with the world. Hurricane theory is all about how if our bubble isn't clear, we easily get swept up in the hurricane of life, inspired by hurricane season 2016. When my bubble's dirty and damaged, I easily get swept up into things, people's petty issues, my own petty issues, thinking that things are a bigger issue than they really are, when really there's a core issue that's running my life. And that's the damage on my bubble. Like, yeah, I would come up with petty things to be dramatic about, but really my issue all along was that I was going through something absolutely horrible that no child should ever have to go through. So when my bubble is clean, it is far, far easier for me to stay in the center of the eye of the hurricane. So I'm just watching life go by. I also see this bubble as something that we look through because emotions are part of every decision we make. Whether we want to believe that or not, it's biologically, scientifically been shown that emotions are the main reason why we decide anything. So when I was in denial and my bubble was damaged, and I was pretending nothing happened, my bubble was still damaged. Wanting to not feel hurt doesn't actually make me not feel hurt. It actually compounded my pain and added extra levels of shame and blame for myself. I was all over the place. I was completely emotionally unstable, and it's because I wasn't seeing clearly. Because I was traumatized in that moment, and I had that damage. And I was looking through that damage until I dealt with it, until I cleaned that up. Which it was a lot more work than that, but you get the point. So all of this is really the framework for how I've worked on myself and gotten to such a peaceful place. Like the way that I'm able to feel pain to an extent that's crazy, but still be so peaceful and so emotionally centered is insane. Even to me, sometimes I'm just like, this is really amazing. And I never would have thought I would feel this like chill. And another thing that's very important that I discovered throughout this whole process is that when I am also in a state of elation, it is emotionally unbalancing. So when I was performing regularly, I grew to have my ego need the applause, where for me to feel happy, I needed to perform. And I would be so nervous and so discombobulated and mentally unstable that I would be incredibly mean to my family and friends that were around me before I would perform, because I had so much emotion wrapped up in needing that applause that I would be just so anxious and angry. And when my bubble was dirty, sometimes I would be really bitchy. So really, it's all just a framework, but it's not how to clean the bubble. So it's a framework for self-work where I can check in with, how does my bubble feel? How did that interaction hurt me? You know, and also different types of damage require different types of cleaning. So how I would deal with a coworker saying that they're gonna rape me would be different than how I would deal with somebody saying that. It's hard to think of it because I don't even know what would insult me. Like, I don't know, like a small thing, like, oh, you're rude, you're a poop face. But if somebody like called me a bitch or something, I would definitely not have the same emotional trauma from that I would have if somebody said they were going to rape me or like actually raped me again. It's really important to focus on that. And just like in real life, if you're cleaning your house, different types of dirt require different types of cleaning. A window requires a different cleaning method than a carpet versus a shower. So it's about really treating your emotional body like something that's really there. So this bubble is our emotional body. And when I really started working on this, I realized how much little tiny things will hurt me. Like just the other day, I accidentally used a hair volumizer that had wheat protein in it, which I'm allergic to the protein in wheat, the wheat gluten. And when I sprayed it on my scalp, it felt like I sprayed acid on my scalp. And it's whatever, like I made a mistake and it really hurt. But when I did my meditation a few days later in the morning, that actually came up to me as something I should work on healing. And I was like shopping for hair products and I noticed that like seeing hairsprays was like making me feel weird. And I'm just so centered and clear now that I can notice little things like that I wouldn't have noticed before. So I feel like the more I work on myself, the deeper this goes and the more clear I get. And it's so hard for people to get to me now. Like, nothing gets to me. And it's awesome. And I also realized after I read some studies that what really helps trauma victims, especially rape victims, is to separate your emotions from yourself and realize that we are not our emotions. And this really fits perfectly into that because our emotions are really the bubble around us. They're not who we are. So I might have felt very traumatized from being raped and being forced down and choked and all of these horrible things. But I felt in that moment emotions that I don't feel at this moment. And I don't have to recount those things and then bring it into this moment and still be looking through that. And now that I've really done so many different things to work on healing it, and I keep doing more. Sometimes it bothers me one day, and if it bothers me that day, then I'll work on it. When things come up, I immediately work on it as soon as I possibly can, and that really helps. The sooner I work on things, the easier it is. Taking this time to really center myself as a person has helped me to no longer live in this haze and feel so lost. I always felt like this lost child after I got raped, and I didn't really find myself until now. I think it's also really important that I humbly always remind myself that just because I'm clear in this moment doesn't mean that I'll be clear in 5 minutes from now. Something might happen that might damage me emotionally, and if I don't work to clear it, it will lead to me going backwards. And it's really about mental hygiene. And just like you need to brush your teeth every day, I need to clean my bubble every day. and I need to be even more vigilant about it because anytime I'm emotionally unbalanced, my multiple sclerosis really kicks into gear. So with bubble theory, I've learned that every time I get emotionally damaged, I'm getting damage to my bubble. But the way that I clean it is going to be different from how you clean it. And every situation sometimes needs multiple different types of cleaning. And it's up to us to figure out how to clean our own bubbles. So I don't know how you should clean your bubble, but on this channel and basically everything that I want to do in my life now is coping better with life and sharing that with you. So as I go on this journey and as I work on myself more, I'm just going to share the things that I'm trying out. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. Maybe some of it will work for a little bit and then stop working for me. I have no idea, but I do know that it's a big adventure and I'm excited for that adventure.
A magical adventure.
So one simple exercise I can give you today that I do with this is I just do a mental check-in. In the mornings, I do a mental check-in and I ask myself, is my bubble clear? And what emotional damage from my past can I heal today? And then I will visualize something, a little something in my bubble. And I'm like, you know what? This needs some love. And I visualize magical healing. Oh, magical healing. Just evaporating and letting it go, shattering it into the universe of universes of universes. I love science and astronomy, so that's what I visualize. And I then say, oh, I'm going to now immerse this bubble and fill the space with lots of beautiful light and magic. And it just makes me so happy to do that. And then at night, I do a check-in of that day because I realize that there's a lot of things from the past holding me back, but every day there are things that happen, little things that I feel like there might be a dust particle in my bubble, but if I get them every single day and I clean up every little speck of dust, they never get big enough to bother me. And that's pretty cool. I've been doing that on a daily basis and it's changed my life. I am able to emotionally cope with having MS so well. I haven't had a fight with anybody in my family in a while, which I used to fight with them all the time. Because I was so angry and I was so emotionally damaged and so dirty and so unable to talk about it. Since I started doing this, I also really haven't had a panic attack. I don't even remember the last time I've had a panic attack. And I used to have them on a daily basis. At one point after I was beaten, I had so many panic attacks. It was insane. I feel like by giving my emotions a visual representation, a physical body that's in my mind, I really help myself to separate it from myself as well as process it, because it's literally giving it something to process. And having that visual has just really changed my life. And I really hope this helps at least one other person as much as it's helped me. What I tell myself and what I think is really powerful, I've really realized the power of how our minds can really do some crazy things. And I really see a difference between how I feel and how I think. And now I can acknowledge truly how I feel authentically and then decide from a place of centered peace what I want to do with that emotion. And by being in that emotion and then going back to that center and being able to get back there quicker, it really helps me in life a lot. Thank you for watching. I hope this concept really helps you. I hope you have a beautiful day filled with endless wonder and beauty. And I hope that you can find a way to clean your bubble. And if you want to be a part of this, join the family. I want to meet more people that are wanting to better their lives and truly be happy, but really see the truth of life. In order for me to truly feel happiness, the deeper I go with the darkness, the more light I get. And the more depth I get with the darkness, the more I appreciate the beautiful things in life. So I'm going as wide as I possibly can. Bye.